So right now we got me versus Skuba Gator, aka Skuba Gator. Skuba Gator is relatively new to Guilty Gear, I believe. He enters the beginners tournament. He's been getting consistent 5th place.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
And I know he's a pretty basic Kai. There's not a whole lot that I needed to watch out for him. I also know that he's not that experienced against Chip, and like normally I might take a little bit more time with this match, but I was a little bit stressed out about the bracket, so I remember this one going pretty fast.
All right.
To start with,
him and Mapachito. All right, here we go. Duel 1. Let's rock.
So opening with 2S or far S into teleport is the cross-up teleport is for Chip. It's pretty aggressive. I don't know how the interactions work out against Kai at round start, but for me when I do this, I'm saying I want to get off to an early lead because it's highly unlikely that the round start button is going to beat my far S or 2S, and 2 that they're going to block the cross-up.
There's no guessing.
There's just too many possible things. And then here, going for the leaf grab immediately.
I'm glad I got glasses.
Like, that's another... I am trying to push... Hey, what up, DeChoy? I am trying to push the momentum and the pace early on. I'm not giving him any time to feel out. This is not an approach that I generally recommend. It's an approach that you can take when you know that you don't have to respect the other player too much, right? Like, this is a feeling out. Like, normally, if you're playing in tournament, and especially if you're playing someone you've never played for the first time, it can be wise to like maybe start with aggression, but be careful in how you apply it. But in this case, because I already know who my opponent is, I have no problem just turning it up immediately. And yes, I will see all of y'all at Arc.
So I can see what's going on.
So he lands a couple hits, he gets the knockdown. Run up 5K. Like,
nice dead angle.
it might look like a small thing here, but I want to point something out. So here, he lands the hit, he gets the knockdown. He runs up 5K, not the trickiest thing, but it works. He gets the 5K, and then he drops the rest of the combo. If he had hit this, and he had spent some meter here, we probably would have been at close to even life, and he would have had the knockdown, right? Get your combos on point. There is a pretty large skill gap right now between me and Skuba Gator, but there isn't that big a health gap. If he had spent his stuff, he would have been in a pretty good position, right? If he hits that combo and gets that knockdown, he basically needs one more combo to kill.
20/20 vision.
But because he dropped it, I'm able to spend my meter to put him back in the corner, and now I get to play the game that I want to play.
All right, first.
And that was a terrible burst. That was the classic quintessential Cali burst. When you are one hit away from getting knocked out in round 1 and your opponent has more than half their health left, don't fucking burst. Remember, only burst in rounds where you can win or rounds where you have to win.
Yeah, I don't at all. But, you know, kind of one of those things he was in the moment.
He's not going to get his burst back for a while.
About getting comfortable in this game is knowing when it's time to give up. Like, even if
nice wake
like,
up DP.
Okay, you whittled them all the way down to its manageable. Sometimes it's like, whatever, I still have my burst.
All right, so this is also worth pointing out. So I get the knockdown here. I fail to convert. I don't touch tech trap. He gets the wake up DP. After the wake up DP, he goes for the heavy slash stun edge, right? The big fat fireball. If this hit meaty, it would have been great.
It's like, okay.
But it doesn't. He doesn't know his knockdown ranges well enough. You know, knockdown range versus wake up time. And yeah, it's complicated. But he doesn't know his knockdowns well enough to know whether that's going to be meaty or not before he does it, right? So he just gave up a shit ton of knockdown advantage instead of making me stand up. So if it had worked, he would have made me stand up into a charged stun edge. Would have been great. But it didn't work. Instead, I get to jump back.
You whittled them all.
The best that he got out of this was he forced me to air dash over him, but because he was still chasing me here, I land before he does. I have the advantage now. He messed up his Oki. Hey, what up, Rush? He messed up his Oki so bad that he gave up a guaranteed advantage where he could have meatied me with a button at the very least, right? Force me to Dragon Punch or block or something. He doesn't do that. And instead, now I have the advantage, right? In the moment, he probably doesn't feel like he fucked it up. He probably feels like he got the Dragon Punch. Yay, he hit me. And then he tried to get some Oki. It didn't work. Nothing, you know, like no big deal, right? But if you look at this interaction and break it down step by step, you can see that what happened here is he actually lost a really big advantage, got nothing for it, and then actually gave up a slight disadvantage. Let's see what I do with this. I don't actually remember. Okay, run up. Yeah, so I'm able to approach. Kai wants to keep Chip out, right? Kai wants to force Chip to block stuff or force Chip to like try and avoid stuff and then hit him in recovery and chase him down, right? But he's not able to do that. Instead, I get to run in on him. He sees this, and so he jumps back to create space. And the problem is that jump back actually costs him a lot of mobility, right? So now, once he jumps in the air, his next options are a lot more narrow than they would have been if he had stayed and tried to swing, right? So he does the fireball. Again, he's late. I was here like 30, 40, 50 frames ago. I'm already on the other side. I can get him with a 6P. I get my combo. I drop my combo. I fucked that up. But he didn't take advantage of it, so I get to run my corner game.
Just say Guilty Gear. There's always
another
always
leaf
big
throw.
Hits, right? And so there's always big spots people will burst because they're like, oh shit, I got hit.
Right.
I got a burst, and you can hold that like 3 or 4 mix-ups, but the 5th one's
Yeah.
like, yo, I should have used this.
He didn't get his burst back. He was almost there, but he didn't get it.
Yeah.
If he had bursted a little bit earlier in round 1, that would have worked. He would have at least gotten it back.
Chip, just because a lot of his stuff can be so burst safe.
Kevitog asks, is that a fuzzy? I don't know what you're talking about there. Is what a fuzzy?
First time I fought Bears, I was just like, can I not burst this character? Is it just not possible?
Finds the conversion
Drop
on
my
Black
combo.
Meat, but ends up dropping it back to neutral in the corner.
That combo's
Trying
hard.
to, keep
The Beyblade to JH is not a fuzzy. The Beyblade to JH is making people think so what Beyblade does is it pops you up a little bit, right? And depending on how you space it, so Beyblade is Chip's JS. Depending on how you space it, sometimes you can use it to avoid blitz shield attempts. Sometimes you just use it because it pops you up a little bit. In my case, the reason I use it is mostly because that extra height lets me get both hits out of JH sometimes, depending on how tall the character is and how high off the ground I am. So what happens is sometimes there are 2 hits before I land in the air, 2 high hits. Sometimes there are 3.
Oh, no.
And if they're not paying attention, they'll get hit by either the low that comes afterwards or they'll get hit by the third hit.
I think like Skuba's best bet is like maybe 6P, like
definitely noticing some trouble on Pat's side on his micro dashes and air dashes. Definitely that's one of the things that...
Yeah, I don't have
you know,
micro
when you go
dashes.
for
I go
PS4
for them.
or
I
PS4,
really shouldn't because I
that's
haven't
really
practiced
difficult.
oh
them.
yeah, speaking of not being able to see.
Yeah, hey, just hold this...
Yeah. Once again, so like in general, I tend to think of Kai as having the advantage on the ground versus Chip. Hey, the soul good guy. Thank you so much for the 200 bits and the follow, homie. I appreciate you. I tend to think of Kai as having the advantage versus Chip on the ground because he's got really good projectiles and he's got really good buttons, right? But it's not just a question of buttons and move interactions. It's also a question of momentum, right? So we're here.
Honestly, got that Gamma Blade.
Not only is he eating Gamma Blade, he does Stun Edge, the small fireball, at this range when running in is very obviously an option for me, right? And Chip 6P can just use that to go right through the slash Stun Edge. I don't know if Skuba Gator knew it, but he sure does now.
This matchup, I think like
Drop my combo. Now, this is another thing, right? He recognizes that the end of my buttons pressure ended with the whiffed like 2S or far S or whatever. And he's like, okay, it's my turn to do something. Chip is negative, so I'm going to swing. This is a classic, just kind of newer player pattern, right? Is to press buttons as soon as you can. I think the choice of the button he pressed is actually pretty good. Kai's 2S will stuff a lot of Chip stuff as far as I can tell. But when Chip's turn ends, get ready for that Gamma Blade, especially if I have enough meter to wire see it. That Gamma Blade is just going to come out there and catch whatever you get. Colin L. Creeps asks, what are my current problem matchups with Chip? Slayer. Daymendo mostly. I also have Taka in my pool, so there's going to be a whole bunch of Slayer. Slayer, Potemkin, Elfelt, Leo, those characters all fuck me up.
that is like maybe 6P, like
Definitely noticing some trouble on Pat's side on his micro dashes and air dashes. Definitely that's one of the things that, you know, when you go from PS4 or PC to PS4, that's really difficult to
oh
deal
yeah,
with.
speaking of not being able to see.
Yeah, hey, just hold this.
Exactly. Those who Unga.
Glad he doesn't have that now, too. The time to give exactly, Kyle.
You should never give up, but you should know when is not the appropriate time to brace.
That's
Well,
very
Shablump's
true.
Arc Revo is a great time to get back into it, and Frosty's coming up real soon.
Like, using the
Oh.
burst is like giving
2S got whiff punished by Gamma, led to Chip's turn, but unable to confirm off any.
Hey, what up,
back
Nev
to
Nev?
the nice 2P mash out into knockdown.
interesting decision not being
Let's
like,
Skuba Gator's actually playing this second round okay here. Let's see what he does.
not the appropriate time to brace.
That's very
So
true.
now he's block. Oh, okay, so he got
Which
caught a
in
little bit
some
there.
people's minds, I think they think,
I miss up my Oki. He goes for wake up throw and misses, but he manages to get out of the
2S got whiff
corner,
punished by Gamma,
and he's like gradually backing up, and then he air
led to
dashes back
Chip's
in.
turn.
Be careful using air dash as a an attack option in neutral, especially when you've been backing up, right? Air dash can be really powerful for a lot of things, especially if you're jump canceling into it. It's fucking great. But when you're moving backwards, the number one thing that the opponent is going to be thinking that you're going to look for is an air dash opportunity. The newbie classic in Guilty Gear is jump back air dash in. And yeah, this like the air dash wasn't punished, but it put him in the corner. And now I get to do whatever I want. Like fuck up my throw and my 6P and whatever. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so he's doing a good job kind of going in and out and trying to use advantages to create space. He's just not to create space that he can use to like start landing some buttons. He's just not used to Chip's speed.
No, it's just like
Okay, this is gonna really
natural.
suck, 'cause, like,
Oh,
if
The
he's
speed
right outside
and the
that.
cadence of Chip's attack just kind of isn't really working for Skuba Gator right now. Combo Breaker's going to be sick. Combo Breaker's sick every year. Combo Breaker is my favorite tournament. And Frosty Faustings is basically like a smaller, less expensive Combo Breaker
RC just putting
that
in
with
work.
more anime.
That's gonna do like
So, yeah.
20 things.
Quick
pretty
one
soon.
versus Skuba
20
Gator.
things for 2020.
This is honestly like this is just one of those one-sided games, right? Because I've been playing this game for a long time and Skuba has not. But there's certainly stuff that he can learn from this match. And it's really just like getting used to Chip's pace. Getting used to like when you play against Chip, you have to be ready with something quick to stop him in his paces, right? If you can stop Chip from running forward freely or teleporting in on you, then your life gets a lot easier, and Chip has to move around you.
So this matchup is.
All right, here we go. This is the most cursed match in this Wednesday night fight. So y'all remember GCYoshi? If you were here for the replay review of this the beginning replay review for this tournament last week, GCYoshi played Bedman. GCYoshi is generally a Bedman player. What up, Graffiti? Good to see you. So right now, Mapachito's about to pick Ramlethal because Mapachito plays Ramlethal when he's not busy fucking up shit in Tekken. He's like good at Tekken, I think. Hey, what up, Pasta Punk? Thanks for the follow. GCYoshi has Bedman highlighted. GCYoshi is a Bedman player. He's ready to play some Bedman.
No.
Adapt opens up his goddamn mouth.
Wow, why would you mention it?
And now we have Kai. Now we have GCYoshi Kai.
This is your fault. This is,
Oh my god.
this is actually
sorry,
your fault.
guys.
I
For
feel so
for
bad
those
for
of y'all who
Mapachito.
thought that GCYoshi's Kai was online only,
This man plays
Nope.
Kai like he's got an agenda.
I think he does have an agenda. And that's,
I mean, like,
let's see that again.
actually
Sorry,
your fault.
guys.
I feel
Sorry.
so bad for Mapachito.
sorry.
This man,
Sorry.
this man plays Kai like he's got an agenda.
I think he does have.
Anyway,
I mean, like that.
Oh, Daisuke. What?
see? There he gets the meaty hard slash stun edge, right? That's the difference between GCYoshi and Skuba Gator.
2020 is all about. Nice, solid.
Gets the
good
dust.
We got him.
Hey, good
Burst comes out.
Definitely.
This man's actually got DP. Yep.
DP again.
DP.
Run up far slash. I'm guessing that maybe that was a throw attempt. I don't even know. Gets the combo.
What's the mix?
Pins him
Pretty
down.
solid. Trying for
Greed
that
sever.
Online skunk.
Okay, so in GCYoshi's credit, we're like 22 game seconds in, and he's only done 1 greed sever, and he's not immediately done 6 more.
Tree. Just kind of fishing with each other in neutral here.
Yeah, but you.
Whew, okay, he's just straight running in with like 6H and shit and 3H. Oh,
GCYoshi's
we got a
card,
bunch of
right? Like his
DPs.
spacing with FS. He's not really overcommitting.
Greed sever.
To deal with most of it up until this point. However, GCYoshi finding the way in. and
Greed
just
sever.
Run.
Greed sever and just stares at him afterwards. I like that. No pressing buttons, no nothing.
I can't even talk with this guy playing.
He's dead.
Nah, he drops it, but he just TPs. What's he gonna do? He doesn't have any super that's gonna win out right there, probably.
Thank you for keeping counter
I guess
off.
he got a block, right?
Greed sever.
nice.
Oh, that crossed up.
Third greed sever, the classic.
Thankfully they, nerfed it.
What
so
up,
he can do
Yuzuki?
that.
Yuzu Yeehaw, all
Nice
y'all.
FD break.
Hey.
What a run up VP. Alright, this is knockdown.
Oh, and so one thing you'll notice is that like, and this is my guess. My guess is that part of the reason GCYoshi plays Kai like this is out of spite and hatred in his heart. But the other reason, I think specifically why he does all those dragon punches, is because he knows that Guilty Gear DPs are actually pretty hard to punish, right? Like they're not the hardest, but in Guilty Gear, whiffing a dragon punch or getting a dragon punch blocked opens you up for like the biggest fucking combo your opponent can muster. Like those are the moments you live for. But it's not always easy to hit that biggest combo because it's not like he recovers for that long after he lands. So if you want to land a grounded hit against him, you don't have that much time, and he's moving. And if you're chasing after him, you're also moving. So you might just fuck up your spacing. You might fuck up your timing, and he's allowed to block. Like, the risk reward on Dragon Punches in situations where you're not ready to look for a Dragon Punch, like neutral, isn't that bad if you consider that a lot of people are going to be bad at punishing the DP with a combo big enough to make it scary.
Yep. That's so messed up.
And it's the same thing with Greed Sever. We all know Greed Sever is punishable, which is why we learned that we shouldn't do it. But people are actually really bad at punishing Greed Sever. Hell yeah, Nev, get that working. And Mapachito drops his combo and barely avoids getting hit by Tech RTL. Tech RTL is when the regular Tech invul just isn't enough for you.
Try to hit him with those footsies.
Oh,
I
DP.
called it. I'm in the head. I'm in there.
I don't know how to call that. This is DP. What do we got? We got DP.
He might be dead. If he's close enough, yeah, he's dead. Just spend it. Just spend
Woo!
it. No, why wouldn't you just spend the meter? You
Mapachito forced to spend burst because he dropped his combo.
No, I know he could have done super just.
Oh, and then gets hit by the dust. That's unfortunate.
I know.
That's heartbreaking.
Unfortunate.
All right.
Man. I mean, it's just one of those things, right? You gotta recognize when the kill is.
Sigh out loud, and he's like, okay.
I curse this man.
Remember how we talked about how jump back air dash in is like the newbie classic?
I mean, it's just one of those things, right? You gotta recognize when the kill is.
Sigh out loud, and he's like, okay.
I curse this man.
He did that shit, landed, and then just added a DP at the end. God bless.
He freaking.
I put a hex on this man.
Hey.
DP? What?
See, this man isn't playing Kai. He's playing GCYoshi.
No, you know what GCYoshi
He just did it again. He knows it. What's he gonna do? Oh my god, he's just gonna do it
And
over.
then he moves on the checker pieces, and then he puts in Chinese chess pieces.
Y'all.
GCYoshi.
Look at
You
this.
know what GCYoshi
He just did it again. He knows it. What's he gonna do?
Run up
Oh my god, he's
DP.
gonna do it
And
over.
then he
Combo.
moves on the checker pieces, and then he puts in Chinese
Meaty
chess
DP.
pieces.
Roman cancel.
like, what's
Do
going on?
another
It's
fucking
like-
I'm really
DP.
loving these next level
Oh.
Kai combos here.
Is that?
Yep.
You know, I don't know. You know what?
I've never actually
you know
fought
what?
a Kai
You'll never
that
be able to download this thing.
DP'd like this, so I don't know what.
I think Mapachito knows to FD in the air. What I think he doesn't know is that if a man does Dragon Punch on you 22 times in neutral, You just run up at him and block until he stops fucking doing it.
The answer.
And it's weird. Like I've played GCYoshi's Kai online plenty, and I think he probably has the edge on me in general because it's really uncomfortable to do stuff like just run up and block at someone because you think they're gonna do a dragon punch. People aren't used to making an adaptation that severe because most people don't run at you and dragon punch 23 times.
It's definitely just not like block, right? You can't block all of these things. GCYoshi recognizes.
Control is like if you jump DP, if you stand on the ground, slide.
Actually, I think this is an argument for reductionism.
Yeah.
He's getting ready
No,
for
see,
2020.
exactly. He actually knew ahead of time what 2020 was.
It's like if you can just win with DP, that's all you need.
How are we certain that GCYoshi hasn't disappeared because he was secretly playing 2020 this Saturday? How can we prove otherwise? Can you prove otherwise?
That's a masterful
Yoshi
throw
tried
reset
for
there.
so hard, and just
Why?
dancing around his opponent and fighting
Jason,
that throw.
why?
Jason, they need you at BB tag.
Oh my goodness.
And he
Shouts
goes
to
BB tag
GCYoshi,
just
y'all.
for someone
Sorry,
else.
Mapachito. You didn't.
29 DPs. Ah.
Richard, you and I.
All right.
Oh my goodness. You can blame him.
Shouts to Mapachito for being a trooper about that one. It's okay. I think he got like fourth in Tekken or some shit.
Versus.
Let's see. This will be good. This is me versus Adapt.
I think this is an even matchup. Yeah, I think Pat just closes it out is the difference sometimes.
You know, it's kind of weird, but I would actually agree with that. So my tournament record against Adapt, I think is like, I don't remember what it is, but I think he's beaten me like 2 or 3 times in tournament, and I've beaten him significantly more than that. But it never feels like it's uneven. It feels like I end up closing out the games before he does. But these matches always feel completely even to me, and I'm glad that that Aaron and Bonjern like picked up on that.
All right, let's see some round starts. Oh, what? Now I wish my far S like could contest that, man. I honestly like. So you know the worst.
So quick tip for all y'all Raven players: if your shit is getting 6P'd, like if you're getting 6P'd on the way down for a jump or something, just use the fucking knee drop more. Make me punish that instead. That thing's a huge fucking pain in the ass. I think I've punished Adapt for doing knee drop like literally twice in every game we've ever played. Or out of all the games we've
Part
ever
is
played.
too. I never thought Raven was a bad matchup for Alpha until someone mentioned it, and then I had to think about it. I'm like, no way, you're right. Like I feel like I lose that matchup every round start.
And shouts to Adapt to some good ass fucking corner confirms, just getting that damage in. Hey, I hit my micro dash and then fucked up the follow up. fucked up the easy part.
Right.
That's okay. I got a full stick of butter
Early
and I got
burst. Right,
Beyblade
yeah.
mix-ups.
Good
And
button.
then I fuck it up. Time to spend that cash.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, nice throw. Here we go. What? That was tricky.
Got a little saucy with that air grab. Didn't quite work out. Oh, and then I get caught trying to do. I think I was trying to do wake up backdash, and I ate the scratch
That's
because of
very
the
good
wire
spacing.
C pause.
Not only that, but did not mention the fact that he guys burst early. These two have played a lot. And much like Adapt's name suggests, he has adapted to this matchup. Early on, it was pretty much like Pat, but he's...
Wow.
Yo, in his face? In his face like this? Yo, you can't see me?
All right, real
It was
quick.
pretty much like...
So, one of the things that I've had to learn about playing against Raven from Adapt is to just look and see if they're stancing before I do anything else. Got it. You missed the OTG. That makes sense. Like, just when I teleport at you, when I do whatever, if I'm playing against a Raven, I need to check and see if they're stancing before pressing a button. And once I do that, once I stop autopiloting those specific things, then I get like a free throw and a knockdown. It's not like a huge advantage, but it's nice.
Pat, but he's...
Wow.
Yo, in his face?
So then I go for the OTG because I want the corner. I want the corner carry and then the pressure afterwards.
Yo, you can't.
A lot of people get hit by that 2D. So I did the string here is just crouching kick, close slash, and then 2D. And I think people get caught by it because they're up backing, is my guess. Don't do that.
See me? Yo, you can't see me though.
It was when I went for the Ryuyanagi super mix up there, I immediately remembered Adapt talking about how Bears like ran Ryuyanagi mix-ups on him for like an hour or something, and now he just blocks them all. And I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Oh well.
That was good. That was good to get out.
I remember Gab telling me once that he had labbed that out after.
And that was sloppy. I actually could have killed there off that combo, but I didn't.
We're pretty even. Leaning Adapt.
All right. So people don't really use the in-game taunts that much, especially at the end of the round, because that gives your opponent 50 meter, and that's just at the round start, and that's just too much. So what people do instead is they cancel whatever the last attack was into IK as like a, haha, I got you. I did not mean to do that. I am actually just pressing buttons here. And so this, right now, you can see me fucking, I'm like, no, I was just pressing buttons.
Mistake.
Universal sign of BM. Guilty gear. When you go into IK stand. No, I know that feeling.
I went into IK while I was losing because I was mashing today. Feels bad.
If you're playing online and you mash like after the round and then you get like
Oh.
IK, especially after you like beat someone, you're like, now I feel like they're gonna think I'm an asshole. Well, I was just mashing.
Okay, here we go. All right, he's got one.
He has one chance.
That's it.
Yep.
All right.
Gab takes the first game.
So
See how,
one thing you'll notice
bad it
is that
does.
when things go badly for Chip in this matchup,
think the winner
as in
of
many
this-
matchups, they tend to go badly pretty fucking
think the
quickly.
winner of this-
If we're in neutral,
winner of this
Chip
has
is
to play the
probably
winner of
happy.
Cam and
But the
GCYoshi.
moment Raven gets on top of me, that shit fucking hurts.
Oh, that was gonna be fat. That was gonna be fat.
I hit the micro dash again. I wonder if it's just something about Raven that makes it easier.
All right, here we go. This is fat.
Shout out to the run up
this is fat
2D,
damage.
and then I drop it at
This is
the
knockdown,
easier
though.
part.
Yep. All right, here we go. The classic mix-up. No grabs. Oh, nice. Oh no, really? Huh? That was too far.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Graffiti. I hope your internet gets better.
Exactly. They can't get anything off of you.
Yeah, I think probably what happened is I was probably trying to jump away.
And so one thing I'm noticing after watching this replay is with Adapt and I, we are both pretty consistently hitting buttons at like the same time, right? So there was a really good essay on the quote 3 structure of neutral in Guilty Gear. I think it was an essay that was it was originally written by Mapachito, and then it was translated and added to by Shinjin Baiken, and then I wrote an essay that's kind of refers to it and kind of explains some of it. Basically, in Guilty Gear, neutral works a little differently than it does in other fighting games because you have momentum, right? So moving in a direction is higher commitment in Guilty Gear than it is in Street Fighter, because in Street Fighter you can basically stop on a dime unless you are dashing or jumping, right? But in Guilty Gear, if you do something that imparts momentum on you, so like I run, you will keep some of that momentum when you exit the run to jump or to go into an attack or whatever, right? Which means that when you are we'll use these to demonstrate. Street Fighter neutral looks like this, right? You go back and forth, right? And you try and swing buttons. In Guilty Gear neutral, it looks like this, right? And depending on which button you press and at what time you press it, either phone will win or can of watermelon water that I spilled on my lap will win, right? And so the 3 structure kind of refers to like, knowing that both people are moving in a certain direction, right? Are you going to press a button early, on time, or late? If you're early, you're expecting that they're going to push a button on time and you're going to beat it in startup, right? If you press on time, you probably don't really know whether they're gonna if they're thinking of going early or late, and so you do the thing that just most likely gonna catch the most other options, right? And then if you're late, what you're expecting is that they're gonna do something early, their shit's gonna whiff, and so your late button will catch them in recovery, right? Both Adapt and I are pressing buttons on time. And depending on which button we press, one of us wins the interaction. But neither of us are really varying whether, like, sometimes going in, anticipating the on time and then swinging early, or anticipating the early and swinging late. Like, we're both attacking at pretty much the easiest time to understand, right? Just making sure that the other person has a hitbox in their face, and then if they get hit by it, great.
Okay. Pat takes the first round.
And for the record, in general, I think Chip, because his buttons are pretty good at beating stuff and his mobility is good at dictating where and how he approaches, swinging on time usually makes sense for Chip. He'll usually be more right then. I couldn't tell you about Raven, though. I don't really know.
Absolutely. No, he's still got enough for.
I need to use that 5P more.
The command grab combo.
I've been working on using Gamma more against Raven.
It's starting to drop now, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, he was going for it.
Ooh.
Good block.
Drop my combo. Good block on the 5D, though.
After a certain amount of time, it starts to king. And every time
Yeah. The other thing I know about Adapt is that he's pretty good at blocking the stuff that falls within, like, oh, if you're looking for this, you should react to it, right? He's good at not getting leaf grabbed. He's good at not getting 5D'd, unless I can give him other things to think about and make it tricky. But for the most part, if I just go for it, he's gonna deal with it.
you do an attack that gives you excitement, or resets that counter.
All right, so no excitement there. Oh, yo, DP, one more.
It's actually kind of similar to Daemendo in that respect. So when you hit Daemendo with a reaction check, his whole body will kind of like shiver, right? When he's getting like, as part of responding to the 5D, you don't see him with his hand just like tack, right, to like stand block or whatever. He doesn't go like that. He goes, and he kind of jumps in his seat a little bit. And Adapt also does. He is similarly operating at the wavelength of, like, 15 to 20 frames, right? He's looking for that shit that's reactable, like, all the time. And it's good. I think it is also what gets him to occasionally, like, react a little bit too quickly to stuff like Chip's fake teleport.
Let's see how adapts.
Woo.
Oh, nice.
I think that's the first glide of 6P
Oh,
in the entire set so far. That's definitely something that I need to just be looking for, though. That was pretty cool. We just traded positions perfectly there. I don't know
if that's enough excitement.
Oh yeah, I get away with a lot of JD against you guys, both in the room or in online net play lobbies as well as in locals. Chip is like super negative if you block JD. He's got Tabatanga. Thanks for the follow, homie. Welcome to the crew. I think Chip's JD has like an extra 5 frames of landing recovery after that, so you can usually just throw him. Sometimes you can just clean punish him, especially if he did it off an air dash or something. What I need to be doing as the Chip player is, if I'm going to go for JD, I need to Alpha Blade to cancel it into Alpha Blade so I can at least get the fuck away from you before you try to punish me. But most of y'all don't make me do that. And I get away with a lot of JD where it's honestly, it's a really bad habit for me.
I think that's enough. I think it's just judged by the facial expression.
Different levels. So there is,
Oh, he's definitely excited enough for some fat combos.
Ticks total, but they're separated into like 3 or 4 levels, and you judge based on face.
All right.
My tech traps suck.
One thing I really like about Adapt's game. Yeah, so one thing I really like about his gameplay is he's incredibly
I really need to get
good
better
with,
at them. I've been using the same ones over and over, and like a lot of 2H stuff, and it's nice when it works because you get the counter hit 2H combo, but its success rate is really low, especially if you know that I like to do it. I need to cut that shit out.
I think Pat also still has the fast shuriken here.
Oh my god. I love that 2H. That was great.
No attack by Adapt.
Oh, I don't know about that, Bert.
Oh.
I don't even think that's spaghetti. That's just. Oh yeah. So that's that.
Tag button. Yo.
Oh my.
Woo! I think we were both mashing throw there.
So for those who don't know, double KO always sets the
That was tight.
This is it. This is it.
It always sets it to 1-1. It doesn't matter what the situation is. This last round, unless they get another double KO.
Oh no, it's gonna hurt.
Oh, he drops it to 60. Great anti-air.
Yo, Dajobi, are you okay? Terry just came out and smashed. Oh no! What a stop!
What a brilliant stand. Doesn't get anything offense, but man, that's smart.
Man, that was.
And so one thing, this is, sorry, as I was watching this, I realized the thing that I picked up on for that last round is that if Chip is close to Raven, it may not always work out for Chip, but if Chip is applying pressure, Raven kind of squirms to get out of it. And sometimes that means Raven will flail and press a button and Chip will run into it, and I need to be careful about that. But if I can force Adapt to be in a lot of situations where he has to make decisions very quickly, that decisions from a place that he doesn't want to be in, it's going to wear down on him. And so as long as I have that advantage and that momentum, even if it's a little risky, I should just keep going in.
Ooh.
Which is why I'm doing a lot of like ill-advised teleports, and I'm spending my
you
meter
guys see-
on
oh my
like
goodness.
mobility shit instead of playing more patiently and neutral.
He's safe from the gold brick, and he presses the button and he gets counter hit.
Like, I'm not going to
Yo, you guys
pretend
see- Oh my goodness!
that full screen alpha was a good idea.
Safe from the gold brick, and he presses the button and he gets counter hit.
Right here. But there was I don't think he was looking at the screen when he saw when he started going for the scratch here. That might have been a read. He might have seen that I was going for the full screen alpha blade and went for this to beat it. But to me, that looks like he was swinging.
Wow, what a conversion.
Pat takes it 2-1.
Anyway, good shit to Adapt. It is always a pleasure to play him in tournament. Oh yeah.
BB tag here.
Oh yeah, this is
what
the
happened. I've never seen
break
this before.
because
He
GCYoshi was ruining
Alright.
everyone's bracket.
Actually, no. All right, you gotta play Jason.
Everything except the stream setup is good for casual.
This stream for this match.
You know, we'll save this one for next time. I think there's a decent amount of tournament left to go through, and I'm trying to get some games into prep for Arc Revo. So